Wow. Yeah, if I could literally, if I had enough space, I would flip out. This is, in my opinion, the best cover design. Not too long ago, I did a video where I hired 5 designers over on Fiverr to do one cover, and it really took off like a really big hit. A lot of people enjoyed it. So I thought to myself, why don't I see about hiring 10 designers on Fiverr for one specific cover? But this time around, I wanted to go with some that were a bit more cost effective. So, some people kind of balked at the fact that there was a higher price point of, say, $35 to as much as $800. And I understand not everybody does have $800 to spare to hire for a cover designer, but can we find something at a cheaper price point? We're gonna definitely find out today. So I actually went through a few people I've used before in previous covers and some previous gigs and such that are a bit more doable. So let's go ahead, get behind the dashboard, get right to work here. Okay, so this very first one is Rebecca Cover. She's a level 2 seller. She's had 12,888 reviews, average of 4.9. She actually has 119 orders in her queue, so she's got quite a bit going. We're just gonna stick with the ebook cover on these particular gigs. She's only about $5, so let's go ahead and order it. And boom, check it out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do all the other orders, and I'm gonna go back through and fix all of the metadata and the things that they need to know to make the gig kind of going. So let's go to our next cover designer, and that's German Creative. This one's for about $10. You get a 3D mock-up along with the ebook cover, so let's give it a shot. And boom. All right, next order. It's gonna be with another designer. Her name's Lauria, and you get the 3D mock-up, high quality flat front cover and a stock image for free, plus a free 3D version. So let's give it a shot at $5. You can't beat that with the stick. And ready for it, and boomski. All right, next gig up, we're gonna go ahead and order from someone named D. Camerlinga. Actually, her name's Danielle. Danielle I'd used a number of years back actually when I first started in the business, and believe it or not, a lot of her covers were responsible for generating thousands of revenue for my fitness brand. So I'm kind of excited to try her out. She's at a higher price point now these days at about $15. You're gonna get a professionally designed 1562 pixels by 2500 pixel JPEG at 72 DPI. Not too bad, pretty happy with it. Confirm, hey. Okay, so the next person up is Pro Ebook Covers. There we go, her name's Angie actually. Angie does phenomenal work. Another one I'd used a number of years back, and she's still just 35,000 orders she's done altogether, 35,000 reviews at an average of 5-star rating. She is really, really worth it. She'll give you the source file, one design concept, one licensed stock image. Let's go ahead and do it. In my opinion, on the last video I did, when she did it, it was probably my second favorite cover. The first favorite, of course, was $800. So you compare that between her price point, it's a huge difference. So let's hit confirm and pay. Boom. All right, the next one up is Pixel Studio. I actually used them on my brother's cover that he did for live streaming kit. Theirs is actually really good. They have a basic ebook cover with stock photo, ebook cover design with a premium stock photo from our library, 3 days to deliver and unlimited revisions, $10, not bad. These guys are really good, high quality stuff, and boom. Okay, so I've done 6 that I've actually previously worked with. So my wife and I were kind of discussing, we want to kind of challenge myself. So I did a little bit more research this time around. I found some people with some great reviews, some good portfolio, and some proof that people have ordered and have been happy with some of the products that they've used. So the very first one I'm gonna hit is Manish 414, and it's received a professional 2D ebook Kindle cover for web use only. One image is included, love it. Let's go ahead and hit continue at $10, and boom. Okay, let's go into another one. This one is Print Talk that we're gonna take a look at. Fantastic covers, definitely worth looking into. So $5, be able to get all the things that we've discussed on the other gigs. So, and boom. All right, the next one is Dahana Jayafak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this properly. Had a great portfolio and about $5 for an ebook cover. You can't beat that with the stick. I'm looking for it, and I'm looking for it. Where is it at? Oh, there it is. It's my boom. A boom. All right, we've got 10th time as a charm here. We're gonna use Pro Graphics 360. Get all the stuff that everybody else was giving, so let's go ahead and do this, continue. And hang on a second, let me see here. Do I have it? Where's it at? Oh, that's right. It's a boom. Okay, count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 gigs ordered through Fiverr here. Getting these book cover designers to whip together one book cover. We're gonna go ahead and see how these all flushed out here in the next few days. We're gonna come on back around. I have a good feeling that these are some great graphic designers who's gonna be able to whip together some awesome book covers. So let's fast forward. It's been exactly 1 week since I put in all 10 orders. A few of the orders, actually, of the gigs I've never tried before, were done within the first 24 hours. So I was pretty blown away at how fast they got things done. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. I'm going to start out with the lowest priced gigs at about $5 and to the most expensive one at $15. Bear in mind that these were all just for the ebook covers alone, and then some of them had a little couple extra bonuses like 3D cover renderings. Okay, so this very first one was done by Rebecca Covers, $5. I've worked with Rebecca Covers before. She did a lot of my fitness covers more recently when I did the whole rebranding and overhaul, and it's no surprise she actually did great work with this right here. I like the color choice. I love the font layout. The A book, I like how it pops off here. Really, really grabs my attention. The crumpled up papers, the pen here, and the half drank cups of looks like either like coffee or hot chocolate. I'm not sure. I'd probably be more apt to do hot chocolate, I'm thinking. But I like how the branding, how she's got the subtle branding. That was one of the things I asked a lot of the designers, please make this a subtle part of the cover and not necessarily a focal point. So A+ on this cover. I really like what Rebecca did with it. And included with her gig, she actually has a 3D rendering of it. And she even tosses in like a licensing and agreement. That way, if you run into some issues, she actually has this backing up everything. So that's really awesome. So chef's kiss. Loving it, Rebecca Covers. Rebecca always treats me well, and I really find that she does great work. All right, this next one is by Donna Jayefek. I've never worked with Donna before, but this is actually not too bad. I like this, the subtle placement of the logo at the very top. How to write a book in 48 hours just jumps off the page. And here's the really important thing. For instance, if we were to zoom out on this and make it like a smaller type image, you'll find that it's much, much more readable. As far as the font choice goes, I'm not 100% happy, but again, it's readable on a smaller thing. And I honestly, I let most all of the designers choose the actual image. I find that this particular image with the books that are open with them, the pages kind of opened up and the stardust coming out of it, it's a little bit played. You'll find that quite a bit with a lot of these books about self-publishing and writing. But, I'll tell you, I got a pretty good deal at $5 for this one. And especially since they give you a PNG rendering, 3D rendering of this particular title. So not bad. All right, this next one here is done by Lauria. Now, Lauria, right out the gate, had some issues in communication, and I think that's partially due to my fault. She initially asks upon, the onboarding that you pick a specific picture on her preferred stock photo sites. And I just went ahead and said, hey, just choose whatever you like, and here's some specifications as I was looking for. Well, she came back with this cover. Now, this is not the cover I settled on. I just wasn't happy because one thing I said was, please do not make my logo the center piece for the front cover. I really just wanted to kind of have it to where it was brand recognition of my channel and such, but not something that was the focal point. So immediately, I just didn't like the layout very much. I didn't like the background color. It's just, for some reason, it just didn't set well with me. Lauria was the only one that I sent back and asked her to redo it. After a little bit of back and forth, she was so cool about it. She's like, hey, if you just pick out a picture, I will take care of it. So she said, pick 2 pictures. I was like, oh, 2, okay. So I picked 2 different pictures. Now, despite what I said about the book with the stardust coming out, I went ahead and chose it anyways because I wanted to kind of see if she can kind of make something better of it. So here is what it looks like. So really like this. She makes this pop. And I mean, this is something, if you pay really close attention to the detail here of the actual fonts, the typography, how she really built in some of that stardust gold type thing, and she made it pop. This looks so much better. And here's the funny thing is, if you actually compare it between the other one, it's the same layout, but it looks much more attractive. It's more eye-catching, and you can see it's very readable when it's shrunk down to a thumbnail size. So of course she actually include this 3D. And now, heads up here, folks, if you do order through WRITEA, it's $5. She doesn't normally do 2 images. I'm going to tell you that. I think it's because I'm a longtime customer, and because of some of the miscommunication between the two of us, she was super cool to do this for me. Please don't expect her to do this for you, because typically it's just one cover. This next one, here we go. How to write a book in 48 hours. I love this. I love this. Now, WRITEA makes it so difficult for me because between the very first cover here and this cover, like, oh my gosh, I would love to know what you think is the best of these 2 covers. Not that I'm going to settle on either one of these because we haven't seen any of the other ones just yet. But I really like the color. Like, the red really makes it pop out. And from a branding standpoint, it might be a little bit different from my normal stuff. But I can see that it's really good. The one thing, as I'm kind of noticing and I'm looking through this, you know, she must have thought like the logo just wasn't allowed on the cover at all. It wasn't completely allowed on the cover. I just think that at this point she was just ready to kind of get the gig done. I would have loved to have seen her work it in, kind of like what we saw on one of the previous covers. Okay, this next one is done by a new seller for me, Print Talk. And I looked through the reviews for Print Talk. It was wonderful. And out the gate, I freaking love this. This is awesome. The choice of blue it really aligns with my brand. Speaking of, it looks like, you know, Print Talk didn't use my logo. It's not a deal breaker for me, but she at least used some of the color elements in this to where it matched. So the yellow 48 hours really makes this thing pop off the page. I like the fact that it shows like the Mac up at the top left of this, and the cup of coffee and the glasses and such. So this is kind of cool. I kind of, to be honest, now that I'm thinking back on some of these covers, I'm really liking this one the best. $5, super cool. I didn't really have to volley any ideas back off of Print Talk. Print Talk was able to kind of just tweak a few elements. Now, I believe Print Talk, we had some issues with delivery time, and they had to ask for additional, like, a delay in it, and I was totally cool with it because I was still waiting on a couple of the other orders, so it wasn't a deal breaker. So Print Talk had great communication, was able to deliver a high quality cover. I'm gonna say this, that I like it best. What do you think? This next one's by German Creative. Now, I've used German Creative in the past and have been very, very happy with some of the covers. So now that I'm looking at this one, I gotta be honest with you, it's good. It's good. It's not terrible, but I feel almost like it was just like a template. Let's just go ahead and toss these things in here and we'll just boom, boom, and get it done. And I completely understand because German Creative almost always has a ton of orders inside the queue, so chances are very likely Les is having, and Les is German Creative's name, Les is having to kind of just assembly line this and push it on through. I probably could have pushed back just a little bit more on this. I don't know, the color choice for some reason and the gradient just isn't sitting well with me. The fact the how-to and the write a book are the same font, but for some reason there was the shadow in the background for write a book, but not on how-to. So it's not 100% for me. But would I be angry in using this or upset? No, not at all. I really like what he did with this. It's good. But compared to the other ones, I feel like, but I could be off. Tell me so inside the comments. And as a bonus, of course, German Creative tosses in the 3D rendering and then also has all the information you needed to know for license and agreement. Something important. I really like this, that they add this into their gigs. Next up is Pro ebook covers. Actually, I'd used Pro ebook covers in the 5 designers for one cover video that I previously did. I'll share more about that at the end of the video. Angie has done numerous books for me, and I gotta admit, this one it's okay. I'm not sure what's going on with the white stroke. It's just weird. I don't know. I liked how the logo is tossed in the top right. That's really kind of cool. And she selected the image. I allowed her, and she's kind of like any of the others that, pretty much like, hey, you choose yours, and I just trust her. And, this isn't completely awful. I'm not saying by any stretch. For $10, it's a steal. It's not bad, you know, and you also get the PSD file along with this. So that means that if for some reason you want to go back and kind of switch things out, so for some reason I want to pull the white stroke off of this, I can go into the PSD file and just do it myself. This next one's a new seller for me, Manish, and I did a little bit of digging here and I found Manish, and wow, this is really good. Really good. For some reason, it brings to mind some John C. Maxwell covers. It's just got that nice framing on it. The color choice is really good. Manish went ahead and did the colors that I had here for my logo, but just increased the saturation and the contrast a bit. And I really think, chef's kiss. This one's a really good design. I really appreciate this one. For about $10, well worth it. Now, Manish just gives you the ebook cover. There's no PSD file, there's no 3D rendering, but for $10, I think this is really cool. I really kind of, when I gave some of the specifications to some of these designers, I gave them examples, and quite a few of the examples were very typography heavy, you know, focused on just the fonts and really getting those showcased, not so much the graphic elements. He was able to take the logo and not make it so much the centerpiece and more of just like an additional part of this. If I had to do it over again, I would like to probably see that going just a little bit smaller, because I just didn't want that to be the only thing that people focused on. But the font choice, the layout, everything looks great. If you shrink this down on the thumbnail, which my video editor is going to do that right now, you can see it's even readable on a thumbnail. Next cover, Pixel Studio. Now, I've worked with Pixel Studio before, and not surprised, like right out the gate, Pixel Studio delivers high quality work. There was a little bit of back and forth with me and Pixel Studio, because Pixel Studio is much like WRITEA, that they were like, hey, could you pick an image? And I said, no, you can pick an image or just go with just the typography. And they were kind of like, we don't know, it's gonna be kind of tough. And I'm like, just figure it out. And wow, they figured it out. I really dig this. Between like the shadows on this, the border, it's almost like an upgrade from Manish's. And I just honestly like looking at like the glow on the lettering, and even how like the subtitle is just slightly like offset to where it's a little bit rotated. I really dig this. Again, this reminds me of a John C. Maxwell cover, to where I could see this made into a small book. Okay, so we got two more cover designers coming up here. One new one, and one I've worked with many times before and actually created some covers that brought me in thousands of dollars over on my fitness brand previously. Let me know what you've enjoyed so far in this video. Next up is going to be a new cover designer for me, Pro Graphics 360. They actually offer 2 ebook covers with 3D renderings. And out the gate, I gotta say that I'm just not a fan of yellow covers. A good friend of mine, Natter, he actually has a cover that's yellow, but it works. It really looks nice. This one just, I don't know. This looks a little gaudy. The white logo on the yellow background really just blends in, so it's almost pointless to have that. I don't know, just I'm not 100% on this one, but this is just a personal preference. The glitter on the lettering here, no, I'm just now the hand up in the top right corner. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm digging that for sure. So very next one here is the 3D rendering, and then here's the second version. Now this right here, I'm liking this. This is much better. The red might be a little too deep for my liking, but honestly, I wouldn't be angry at this actually being my final product. Maybe with the how-to and a book, I would like to see that lettering and the coloring matching the author name, or the author name matching other way around. For some reason, Pro Graphics must really like this glitter stuff right here. The glitter stuff isn't quite vibing with me, but I think that if this were made into, say, a print book, especially like, say, a hardcover book with a dust jacket, it would be kind of cool to actually have those areas embossed. And at that point, I think it wouldn't look gaudy, it would look really cool. And then of course, here's the 3D rendering that they offer with this. So 2 covers for the price of 1. That's not bad. Okay, so this very next one is the most expensive gig at a whopping $15. And it's the only thing that this person offers. It's Decam Orlinga. Now, Danielle, I've actually known her for a number of years. She did a lot of my covers for my fitness brand when I first broke into the business. And when I started to get my breakthrough, it was because of her covers that I really started to gain any traction. And when I tried to switch out those covers, is when I saw a lot of drop in sales. So Danielle has got a great eye for attention and detail, and she's very customer focused. And it literally had been 4 years since I last actually chatted with her. So of course she was surprised to hear from me for the first time in a long time. We got to jib-jabbing back and forth, and she did something a little different. Now I don't know if she does this for all her gigs. She might be kind of treating me a little bit special, but she went ahead and she dropped in some different renderings of some designs, some design ideas that she had for this book. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was really just, wow. I've never had a cover designer do this, ever. And I've had hundreds of covers made over the past 6 years. So it was crazy that she went through this extra trouble to kind of do this stuff. And so my wife Kelly and we sat down, and I said I really liked A. Kelly said she really liked D. I definitely would love to know which layout do you like the best of these 5 designs. So Danielle she got back to me not even a couple days after this with the finished product, and here it is. Wow. Yeah, if I could literally, if I had enough space, I would flip out. This is possibly, in my opinion, the best cover design at $15, 3 times as much as our first few covers, and about 50% more for than the other ones. Now, this is great. I love the layout. It's very clever in how the stopwatch, the timer, is incorporated into book, and it really grabs the eye. I honestly, and this is no knock on my current, cover designer who does most of my stuff, Marco. This reminds me of a Marco cover. This is so pro. This is nice. It really gets right in alignment with a lot of the stuff that I've done previously. I could see myself using this cover ultimately when I get ready to launch this short read. What do you think of those 10 covers? How did you like? And of course, I've got it all voted for right here. I'm going to show you the order that I liked. And while you're looking at that, you could always take a look at this very next video right over here, to where I talk a little bit more about the 5 cover designs I ordered for 1 cover through Fiverr. And if you've already seen that, you can take a look at this very next one. I'll see you in either one of those videos.